Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the Wolf's Den. This is a review edition of the SCARABARMS TGR2 Mark 1, one of the newest mag-fed paintball markers on the planet. I'm going to be talking about this very cool marker, tell you if it's any good, and fill you in on what's up with it. If you have not seen this yet, it's been requested many times on the show. This particular marker already has its own very cool following. These guys love it so far. I'm going to tell you what I think. So some of you may know magazine-fed paintball or mag-fed paintball has been on an insane rise in the last couple of years. It's becoming hugely popular, and with the upcoming of video games like Call of Duty and Battlefield and what have you, these first-person shooter games, mag-fed games have grown exponentially in North America and all around the world. That's why it's very cool to see that SCARABARMS came up with this marker. They updated it recently to take out some of the kinks from the old versions, and I'm glad to share it with you today, so let's get started. This is the TGR2 mag-fed marker. It works on HPA. The old ones used to work on CO2. I'm very glad to see that they changed that because the CO2 stuff was nonsense. And they updated their system to make it a lot better. So here's a few things about it. The body, the lower receiver is, the upper receiver is metal. The lower receiver is very strong. It's made from a strong nylon fiber. It is not plastic. This thing feels incredibly strong, and when you put the magazine in, it fits like a glove. There is no wiggle room, there's no space, which is awesome because it's great for a quick release when you want to get rid of your magazine, get a new magazine in, and it's very durable. It's got ambidextrous safeties and mag release, which means your safety and fire position is on both sides of the marker for you left-handed shooters, and the mag release is on both sides, which is excellent for all types of shooters. It has a pistol grip, which can be switched out for an actual real steel pistol grip, depending on the style that you like, which is very cool and very smart. The barrel itself is A5 threaded, X7 threaded, so it's very easy to upgrade this marker with your old gear that you might have, or if you want to go to the store, the A5 threaded stuff is the easiest stuff to find on the market, which is also very cool. It has an aluminum blowback bolt and a venturi inside of that bolt. Another very cool thing, well, the thing about the venturi is that it disperses air properly when it shoots out the paintball, which makes it that much more accurate and saves you a lot of air. Another very cool thing on this, in order to charge the marker when you air it up, it has an actual charge handle like a real AR-15. Excellent! A real working charge handle when you want to shoot the thing. So now I just charge it, it's ready to shoot. Very cool. Like, I mean, that's huge. That is extremely cool. Not only for the realism, but okay, it is cool for the realism. I mean, that is epically cool. It's designed to save air and get the marker ready to shoot. Very smooth idea, you guys. Very cool. The iron sights are actual adjusting front and rear iron sights, and when you get them, to make them work, all you do is push this and the iron sight goes up. Push it down when you don't need it, pull it to go up. I know that seems basic to some of you guys, but I do this show for new guys and older players. And the iron sights are adjustable. If you can see this correctly, it does move for windage and elevation. Very cool. I myself have an ACOG sight on this thing. It's not magnifying. It is a red dot sight. Love using it. And it fits perfectly on the rails. I have it a little bit too far. Usually I have my red dots a little further ahead so you can open with both eyes. I'll show you that in another tactical video I'm going to do in another time. It's a very light marker, but it's very close to actual real steel weight. I haven't actually weighed it, but it's a very comfortable fit. This came with SCARABARMS' own tank. The only complaint I have about this tank is that I think it's metric threaded or something. It's not threaded like other regular tanks like Ninja and Gorilla. You have to use their tank to thread in properly. I think that's kind of a pain in the butt, but if they want to do that, that's how they want to do it. It comes with the car stock, the adjustable car stock to go on the back for how you want it to feel. It's very cool how they put this together, in that it comes apart like a real AR-15. It's based on an AR-15 / SCARAB body. That's why it looks so familiar to some of you guys. To take off the lower receiver, all it takes is two simple push pins to take off the lower receiver and have access to the upper receiver, which is insanely smart and very cool. It has 2 points on the rear to put slings onto. Again, ambidextrous, both sides, very cool. The handguard is especially well made, very strong. Picatinny, it's right to spec. You can put on any type of attachment you want on this thing. I usually put on an additional tack light, especially when I'm in darker fields. Now, when you shoot this thing, it feels great. It's got a little bit of a kick to it. And when I say a kick, I mean paintball kick. I'm not talking like real steel kick. You feel this thing when you're shooting, and I love that about this marker. This marker also takes SCARABARMS magazines. I'll show you one of those. It also fits, this is what it came with, an 11 round magazine and an 18 round magazine. Very well built, sorry, very sturdy. And the design is okay. It's not my favorite design. The good thing about these magazines is that you have the full 18 rounds and you don't have to turn it around or anything to reload. The bad thing about these is that I'm scared about the springs in these things and cleaning them. I've heard different things about the springs for these types of magazines. If you wind them too tight, you might have problems, stuff like that. And if you have a problem with magazines, or if you have a break inside one of these, they are a pain in the ass to clean. They do now have removable bottoms, from what I remember, yes they do. And there are the techniques of cleaning these things without messing up the whole spring system. But overall, it's a good magazine. It's not great, and a lot of guys love these things. It's not a favorite of mine, but I call them two-tier magazines, in which there's two things you have to do to load them. You have to turn the spring manually, then you feed the balls in. Got the little detent at the top up here. As soon as you push it in, releases the detent. You're ready to go. Very cool about these things is that they are smoke colored, which means you can see how many rounds you have left. No guessing. Well made. Yeah, the D-mags, I believe they're called D-mags. They're very good. They're also this gun is also compatible with Rap 4's magazines, which also work, but they do not work with the die-dam magazines. Keep that in mind. So when you work your magazine, you air it up. Again, make sure you charge it with a charging handle before you put air into your marker. Always use safety. Always use eye protection. Even if you're just demonstrating to people, always play safe. Magazine goes in like so. And one very cool thing about this is that it's got a window right there, so you can see that you have a round in the chamber. Amazingly cool. Also, it's got guide for the release right here, which is something they added on apparently, that it does not get stuck when you release a magazine. So when you're ready to shoot, you take her off safety. Now the cool thing about these, again, the magazines are very strong. Wow. Now, I did break a ball. It was my fault. I was being silly. But the cool thing about it is that I double fed it and a ball got stuck. And all I did was pull back, charging handle came loose, cleaned it out really quick, go again. It's just like a real AR. You know, if you get a jam, you pull it twice, clean it out, and you're good to go again. This thing was very cool. And just to give you guys a personal tip that I was using, I never fill it too high to the top, because when you do, you might give yourself a double jam. So I always just leave a little bit of room, a little bit of rattle. That's what I do to make it safe. And when you feed these, you feed it like so. Make sure this goes in first. You don't try to go straight up. I always feed it like this, push it in. You don't have to jam it too hard because it's a very reliable feed system. And then you're shooting, take it off safety, and then you're good to go. Wow, this thing feels great when you shoot it. Like, I mean, it's a very cool feeling marker. It just, the weight, the distribution of the weight is impeccable. Yeah, the T-mags are the mags are built very well. They're built so well, in fact, that RAV4 changed their magazines. Well, they didn't really change their magazines, but you can buy a kit to adjust it to be more like these. These are also fitted for first strike rounds. Now, mind you, on the TGR2, one very important thing, if you do get a first strike round, you know on those rounds that they do have a little nipple on the end of it. To shoot better with the TGR2, try and shave those off a bit with a file. You'll have a lot better response and a lot better accuracy if you do that, because otherwise I've heard feeding problems for those markers for that particular type of round. Now, I did a rookie mistake when I got this marker. I felt very stupid, but I couldn't figure out for some reason how to do this thing before. When you get this, you're not gonna have the bottle on top. You have to put the bottle on, then put on the stock. How to do that is, I found that if you just try to adjust the stock and pull it off, of course it's not going to come off. It's got a safety catch, so you don't lose your stock if you try and adjust it on the field. What you have to do is you pull this, and then you, as you're holding it down, you pull it again so it comes all the way out, and then you pull it off. And it's better if you have it on a table or something, because there we go. Boom, then it comes off. All right, this is the feed that feeds the stock on, and that's where the bottle comes on. And nice and easy, take the air off. Like so. Now when you want to adjust the air, you take off these two back pins and the spring comes out. All you need to do is switch out the spring for one of the 4 or 5 that comes with it, and that takes down the velocity of the marker. Very easy, very simple. So what I'm going to do is take inside, put this on a table, show you some of the innards, and show you a little bit more. Okay, so here we are. I came inside because I just needed some space to deal with it. I didn't want to mess around with this on the outdoors and lose anything, so which I always do when you break down a marker. So the air is gone. And you should always take the bottle off before you do anything, so let's do that now. There you go. So you have your 2 push pins here. Remember that one is always a little different than the other. Got your skinny one here and your shorter one here. So pull that one out of there. And that comes off like so. Very well built. I'm going to clean this out because I broke when I was testing out some old paint, which is mostly my fault, but it happens. Now make sure when you take out this final pin that you're holding the back down a bit, because there is some pressure on it. So I'm going to take that sucker out there, put it up high, and that comes off very easy. So that's the back end. That's where the air goes in. Always check these little O-rings. Very important to make sure that the air flows through properly on the marker. Goes in there, feeds in down there, boom, boom. This is what you want to replace if you want to adjust the velocity. So you just unscrew the charging handle, the front end. And boom, like a real AR, everything just comes out after you do that. Very simple to do, don't lose anything. And there you have the bolt, hammer, and everything else. Make sure you clean her up nice, lube her up nice, and it will treat you well. Now, I don't know if they have any aftermarket pieces for this yet, but I would like to see some if they do, because it's always good to advance what you have. And make sure she's all nicely cleaned out and everything. I've got a swab here the Flag Raiders paintball field gave to me. That was very cool of them. Very nice setup they have here. And I'm just going to make sure everything's nice and clean. Give me 1 second. So it's always very important not to over lube this. Make sure the 4 O-rings are intact and not hurt by any dirt, grit, or grime. A special note, if you ever have problems with cycling, this is the hammer. If you ever have problems with air leaking during cycling or it's not doing it correctly, this O-ring here, this is probably the reason why. Try and check that if you have that type of problem. Now, the SCARABARMS TGR2 also comes with metal. Don't know if you can see that. See the silver in there? Those are metal detents. It's a special thing they have. Do not mess with those if you don't have to. They're very fragile. You do not want to mess them up. Plain and simple. Put that like that. See, that goes around there. I know you like how scientific I get when I do my reviews because you know, that's just the way I roll. Boom, put that together. Charging handle goes on the top. Just have to make sure I line this up properly. Don't want to mess it up. She goes all the way in like so. Beautiful. Put this back on. Put the push pins back in. 1 second. Okay, so I screwed the charging handle back into the front. Now keep in mind that I showed you the condensed version because I didn't want to. These are always going to. The front one was easy, but the rear push pins were a pain in the butt to get out. Just had to use some elbow grease. It's just because it's the first time I'm doing it. So, like any other marker, it just takes some working to get used to what you got to do to open this baby. Boom. Good. Sure, good to go. So my air is empty, but I'm just going to put the bottle on just for heck. I'm not going to turn it all the way in. I just want to less stuff to store later. Again, remember to put this on when you receive it, pull it, and pull out all the way. That's how you get over the little hump on the feed. It took me, I know it's to some of you that's really simple and easy to figure out, but for some reason, I don't know if I was tired that night, it just gave me a hard time. So, got the stock on, air's on, nothing in there. She's ready to go. Just pull for the heck of it, see? Beautiful. Very simple, very easy mechanical marker to tear down, put back together, even to adjust the velocity with the spring. Awesome idea, thank you very much. And yeah, when you put the magazine in, it's very sturdy, very strong. It's not wobbling at all. I've had issues with other magazines. The release, easy on both sides. Falls out smoothly. Don't have to worry. Beautiful. All right, let's go outside, tell you guys what I really think of it. Boom, there you go. Review of the TGR2. Very strong, very versatile marker, very realistic, very cool. It does have its, it can get a little tricky to shoot it when you're first learning how, but once you work out the kinks, works amazingly, is extremely accurate. As long as the chamber's clean. If you get a break in there, it's gonna be twisting all over the place. So if you get a break like I did in the glass, you make sure you clean her out properly, then go again, and you'll be accurate again. But otherwise, this thing shot amazingly for under $500. And if you want to go mag fed, you cannot lose with this marker. It is a very affordable and very capable piece of equipment, and very cool and very realistic looking. Do not go out in public just holding. I'm in a very isolated area. Do not, when you're going to a paintball field, always put your markers in a case of some kind. Do not go walking around like some idiot in public with a realistic looking gun. That gets all of us a bad name. Very true, keep that in mind. Overall rating for the SCARABARMS TGR2 Mark I, I give an 8 out of 10. Excellent! Awesome marker. Could be a little easier to clean out if you get a break, but very, very, very reliable, very cool marker, great for your price. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and it's very cool. It's very nice. I mean, it is so cool. I even had to put my name right on it, because that's how cool it is. If you want to get your own logo or your name lasered on your marker like I do, look at the link below, find Sarge, he can do that for you on any type of marker. Thank you very much, SCARABARMS. This is an amazing marker. I don't know if I'm going to give it away or keep it for my collection because it's insanely cool, and I want to keep playing with this sucker and have fun with it. So thank you very much for watching Wolf Den. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, look below. I'm going to put the SCARABARMS owner group link, so you could go on Facebook and ask any questions you want about this marker. Get all the intel you need to know. Those guys know everything. And yeah, I'll see you guys out there. Maybe I'll be playing with this sucker. I have no air in it, so I'm being safe. But yeah, I will see you in the tall grass. Ooh, she's out of air. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay tuned for the next top 5. Stay tuned for more giveaways. Get your friends to subscribe now. Hope you liked it. If you did, press the thumb. Oh yeah.